So
okay, I am recording now. Yes.
Okay, so you should have it.
Yeah. So that's good information for you too, right?
It is, because it saves me downloading it and then sending it by WeTransfer and all the messing around that requires.
But I'm sure that you probably, well, I mean, I think that, yeah, you should still be able to do it too. And if you can't, I'll send it to you right away, because you're probably, there could be some, I'm sure that, you know, part of the reason you want to do this is because there's probably some good information in here for you, right?
Well, what I'm doing for one of my newer presentations is I'm finding past life links to their present life and what they've come here to do in this present life. So
Yeah.
there's a definite connection, and I've had several now that have recalled memories in other lifetimes where they've not been able one way or another to complete what they chose to complete. They've come this time with that agenda, which is to complete. And that's why I'm interested in your connection, because you've said that you've already been told by others that there was a connection with the Sasquatch. And so it would be really interesting to see whether there is a past life connection to them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know I'm here to do something for sure. There's no question about that. I knew that even when, you know, even when I was a little kid. I mean, you know, I just, you know, I mean, I'm sure you've heard this many times. People said, well, I didn't really feel like I belonged here, and who are these people, and why don't I think like them, and all this kind of stuff. And you know, all this stuff is not happening to me for just for, you know, without any rhyme or reason. I'm definitely here for a reason. Yeah.
Absolutely. So for me, this will be interesting to see if you can access more of what that connection is and why it's been the Sasquatch particularly that you've connected to. There must be a reason behind that. There must be some deeper reason. So,
Yeah.
you know, when I'm talking to you, I'm also talking obviously to your higher self, your superconscious, saying, right, if there is a connection, can we please be led to that information?
Right.
So that's what I'm putting out to your superconscious. So first of all, though, I'd like to ask you, have you got any particular questions you would like to bring into this regression? That I can
Well, I mean, my wife, my current wife, we had like, you know, we've had an amazing connection. I even had a holographic image of her, like twin flames kind of thing, right? Where I just knew it was her, and there was a figure 8 swirling around us, and it joined together. I mean, this is like an actual holographic, full color image in front of me. So we have a really special connection. I wouldn't mind finding out about that. Do you need to know her name, or just my current wife?
Your current wife is fine. I mean, if you want to give
current wife, yeah. Current wife.
Oh, maybe we ought to be a little bit more specific, just to be so there's no.
Her name is Susan. Susan.
Susan. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about Susan and your connection to her. Okay. So
and,
you're.
Yeah, and I want to find out. I want to find out what I'm here for, obviously. You know, because I'm not here just. You know.
Yeah.
Because I'm. You know, I don't think. Well, whatever. There's something. There's something going on. Yeah. And of course, the Sasquatch thing. I'm totally fascinated with that, and I think that that would be good information for you, because I don't know, Mary. Did you ever consider that the Sasquatch were doing the same work as some of the star nations that you're in contact with? Did you ever consider that?
Yes.
Oh, you did?
I did.
Oh, okay.
I read a lovely book. I've forgotten his name now, but he wrote a book on the Sasquatch, and I read it when I was staying at Joan Ocean's in Hawaii. I can't think of his name now.
Iwani Laspheritis?
Yes. And I read the book and I thought, well, there's the connection there. So that, to me, that was obvious. Just like I have those that are connected to the cetaceans, particularly the dolphins and what have you, as well as another that is connected to these to the star beings. It's just one other of the forms. So the mere fact that they are able to go interdimensional, the fact that they are connected to many of the star beings, to me, it's just not been explored as fully in ufology, because they're still struggling with people connecting to Arcturus or Pleiadians or Orion. You know what the mainstream ufology nuts and boltsers, alike.
Yeah.
They're still struggling with the whole multidimensional side of this, when we found with our research, with the free, with our surveys, that 70% of those that have experiences out of the 4,200 we interviewed, 70% or 75% were out of body, not physical. And so that takes it all into the consciousness realm, which nuts and boltsers really struggle with. So then I'm considered, the new agey, what's the name, simply because I'm talking about consciousness. And, and the whole thing's ludicrous, because ultimately, until we acknowledge that, we're never going to understand what this phenomena is all about, and how people are being communicated with after contact. So for me, that's not your story is interesting because of the link to possible past life, which will explain why it's you rather than someone else.
Right. And if I have some links to like some like Palladians or or something like that, I would like to, that kind of stuff. And maybe what my mission is, what I'm here to do. I kind of know what I'm here to do anyway. I'm pretty focused. I'm here to wake up people's. Oh, I'm getting energy again. See, the Sasquatch send me energy when I talk about stuff they love. I'm here to wake people up to their true universal self, and that we're not just, in a meat suit down here and whatever, that we're all energetically connected and we're all part of the same big thing, right?
That's
and when people understand that and can get that, grasp that, then there has to be a conscious shift or whatever, right?
And this is what's happening with all of the chaos in the midst of that. A lot of those contacting me are wanting to connect more multidimensionally to whoever's supporting them in the non-physical realm, and I help people do that because that's sort of part of my mission, if you like, is to show them how it works, to show them how to operate more confidently in with their non-physical contacts, and show them how the tangibility of it, and how they can be confident with it as well, has been very much part of my work. So
I respected you in this interview so much that I trimmed my nose hair today.
Oh, I'm very touched.
But I'm a little nervous because I don't mind. I mean, the process doesn't scare me, but I mean, I've never been one, like could meditate or whatever easily, so it's not going to be an issue getting me under.
Well, let me explain the process so that you understand how it works. First of all, I assume you've never had hypnosis before. Is that correct?
Right.
Okay. Well, let me explain, because there's a lot of misconceptions of what people think it should be and how they operate. First of all, every time you see something, maybe on, I don't know if you watch TV much, but whatever.
I don't.
Well, anything that really fascinates you or interests you, you're inclined to focus on it and lose interest in what's going on around you. And that can be driving the car. You go off into another realm because your body automatically knows how to drive, and you suddenly realize, oh, I've done several Ks and not realized that I've done that. We go into altered states all the time when we get very relaxed. So this isn't, some kind of magical thing. It just means that what I'm doing is focusing you in an altered state so that you can access information. Now, you're not necessarily, and it's highly unlikely that you will go somnambulistic, which obviously means those literally lose consciousness and vacate almost, where they don't remember anything. Most, like yourself, who haven't ever meditated or whatever, you will go into just a light trance, and that is quite adequate to access information. You'll still be aware of what's going on around you, but I will have you going down a certain yellow brick road. Let's put it like that. And I'm keeping you focused because I'm asking the subconscious, superconscious to lead you to the information that you seek, which is to show you that. Now, are you, do you, with your communication, are you visual as well as sensing, feeling? Do you get images and things like that as well?
Well, I mean, I have had that holographic image and stuff. I've had a little bit of a lot of it, but I'm mostly energy related, you know, like, okay. I guess they call that sentient, clairsentient. Yeah. I would say that I am a clairsentient. Okay.
So the information may come to you in a variety of different ways, in a sensing, feeling, knowing, not necessarily visual, but that's fine too, because all of that is multidimensional information. It just comes in different forms to give you what you need. So I'm going to trust what you sense and feel about something as part of the information. You may even get visual as well. So I'm going to, you know, I'm going to use terms which are sensing, feeling, but also you may get visuals as well. Or, you know, whatever comes, that the important thing with this, and I can't stress this enough, is your multidimensional information comes in literally spontaneously without thought. And when I say to people who want to open up multidimensionally, I said it's easy, but it's hard. I said it's easy, well, in the sense it's hard because you have to shut down left brain, but it's easy because you don't have to think. It's literally there. And you know that things will come to you before you've thought. It's just there. Instantly, the information's there.
Well, that's how the Sasquatch communicate with me a lot, because I have a thought and they've already know.
Yeah, exactly.
They've already got the answer ready for me.
That's exactly how it works. And it's the complete reverse of our 3D operating system. It's the complete opposite to how we operate in that way.
And, you know, I probably got a little bit of all of it, but I mean, I would say that I'm clairsentient is the strongest.
Strong. That's fine. Others may come in as we are, you know, I'm leading you through a certain visualization that at some point will go into the information, and I will know when that is, because there's 1 minute where I'm getting you to teach you how to get to a certain place by a certain creativity. But then there'll be a point where I'm saying, now what are you feeling? Now what are you sensing? And what have you? And that will be instant then, because what we're doing now is we're making sure our, you know, superconscious gets the message that we need this. This is what the information we're seeking, however it comes to you. And as long as you're honoring whatever comes without any kind of editing, that's the important thing, is that you don't edit anything, no matter how unusual it may be or how different it may be. It's important you don't edit. Afterwards, you can pull it apart as much as you like, but not while we're in this, you know, in this space. And believe me, I've had people listen afterwards and go, that couldn't have been me. I couldn't have said that. And I'm saying, do you think your imagination then would have said that? And they'll say no, because it's too weird. And I'm saying, right, so where do you think it's come from then? You know, if your imagination thinks it's too weird. So it can be very, you know, for some people, it can be very confronting if they get stuff that is completely opposite to anything they've ever been aware of before. And this is, of course, you know, part of it is that, you know, owning whatever it is you're getting during the process is really important. Afterwards, you can deny all of it. You could say.
Well, yeah, you know, I'm already pretty open to, you know, I mean, I'm not one of these people who like, you know, I'm sure you've done this with people who have had maybe sent something, but they didn't have a lot of experience. I've had a lot of really incredible experiences. So it's not like it's gonna, you know, I'm pretty open to pretty well anything. I don't think I'll be poo-pooing it, you know.
No, I don't think you will either. I'm just explaining to you that there are some that it completely reverses any kind of their, well, it completely changes their paradigm in ways that they've struggled with. But I don't, with you already so open and already communicating, I don't see that as an issue. The main thing is getting the information that you seek and joining the dots is what we're really after. So I'm going to take you through a process, which is.
You want me to lay down?
Yeah, first of all, I will say, you need to go to the bathroom first, because that's important. Then if you prefer to lay down, that's probably, you're going to be more comfortable if you lay down.
Because let me, hang on a minute. I'm going to try to put my headphones on, and then I've got my microphone right by my bed, so you should be able to hear me. Do you want to try that?
Yeah.
Should we try that?
I don't need to see you. As long as I can hear you, that's the important thing.
Okay. Because it's better to be relaxed, right? Isn't it?
Sorry?
Because it's better to be relaxed, is it not?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. The more that you're comfortable, the better. Whatever works. As long as I can hear you, that's all that matters.
Okay. Can you hear me good?
I can hear you good. That's fine, Brian.
Oh, you know what? Hold on a minute.
And the most important thing to remember is that you don't have to be deeply.
I can't hear you good though. Hold on a second.
Yeah, okay. Right. So you need to be sure you can hear me clearly. That's really important.
Yeah, I don't know why I'm not hearing you. Is it going to work if I'm sitting up?
Yeah, it's just preferable if you're lying down, but I mean.
Why am I not hearing you?
Oh.
Give me a second.
Okay. All right. So I'm still talking normally. Can you hear me all right now? Is that okay?
Hold on a second, Mary.
Okay.
Can you talk?
Okay, I'm now talking normally. Is that okay for you? Can you hear that all right? Does that sound reasonable? How are you going? I've got mine on almost the full thing here.
Weird.
Yeah, you should be able to hear me just the same as long as you're connected.
Yeah, I should be able to hear you through these headphones.
Yeah. Can you hear me via your computer without the headphones?
Hang on a second. Unmute my audio. I don't know why this is. Okay, how's that?
Okay, well, I can hear you perfectly. It's not
Yeah,
a problem.
I can't hear you through my ESO. That's weird.
Yeah. So, can you do it without the headphones and do it just direct to your computer?
Yeah, you know what? Hang on. That's weird. That's weird. Okay, I've got hearing aids too, so let's
all right, see how you go.
I don't have to hear you super loud, do I?
No, just enough that it's clear where I'm taking you, and I need to hear you back, of course, because I want to I want to hear what your responses are.
Okay. Can you hear me?
I can hear you fine. Can you hear me?
Yeah. And I'm going to turn it down just a little bit so that my landlord doesn't come in and interrupt us in the middle of it. You just never know.
Right. Okay.
Okay, say something.
All right. How's this? Is this okay? Does this sound all right?
It does. Yeah.
Good. That's excellent. All right. And just remember that try not to think about anything other than the questions and go with the questions, not what's going on around you or anything like that. It's really important. So when you're ready, just close your eyes. Tell me, I can't see whether you've closed your eyes, so just tell me when you've closed your eyes.
Okay. I close my eyes.
Oh, that's excellent. Now take some nice big deep breaths. So I want you to feel the breath, and as you exhale, release any tension, any anxieties or any fears. Just feel your body relaxing. That's right. Just relaxing more deeply each time you exhale. And every time I use the word relax, just allow yourself to go that little bit more deeply. That's right. I want you to imagine, to sense or to feel a beautiful cloak of energy surrounding you. It may be one or many colors, whatever comes to mind, bringing in peace, balance, and harmony. Feel those frequencies as they surround your body as you relax ever more deeply. And every time I use the word relax, you relax that little bit more. And all the sounds around you will only deepen that feeling of calm and peace. That's right. Breathe that energy now into your heart space, right into the chambers of the heart, calming, relaxing, and balancing. Feel those energies in your heart. And as you bring more of that energy into your body, allow yourself to relax even more deeply as that energy goes through each tiny cell and molecule of your heart. Breathe in more of that calming energy as you take it to your lungs, as it rises up your lungs, calming, relaxing, and balancing. Feel that energy as it travels to your shoulders. And if your shoulders are feeling tight, allow them to go loose like running water as they sink into the pillow. Bring more of that energy in as it travels down your arms to your elbows, from your elbows to your wrists, hands, and fingers. Feel the shift as you do so. That's right. Bring more of that energy into your body so it travels up your neck to your chin, mouth, nose, forehead, and scalp. This warm flow of calming energy over the top of your head, down your back muscles, right down to the base of your spine. Feel the shift as you do so. That's right. Now bring the energy over into your abdomen, into the organs of your liver and stomach, releasing from those organs any old energies, any anxieties or any fears as you exhale. Now bring this new energy into those organs. Feel the calm, the peace, and the balance as you do so. Now bring the energy to your lower organs, to your thighs, knees, ankles, feet, and toes. So your whole body now is enfolded in that calming, balancing energy, both within and without. And now we're calling on the subconscious, superconscious higher self. And I want you to imagine, sense, or feel this awareness is like a golden energy of consciousness right above the crown of your head, bringing in all your higher awareness, your wisdom and truth. Imagine bringing that beautiful awareness into your heart space. So it's residing in your heart, this golden energy of higher awareness, knowing, wisdom, and truth. Now imagine and sense this frequency going through each tiny cell and molecule of your physical body, expanding through your body so you can access this information on any level you choose, including your physical self. So your whole body now is filled with light, understanding, awareness, and higher truths. Now expand that frequency into your many energy bodies. That's right. So you become a golden orb of energy and light. And now I want you to imagine that in your room there is a portal through either the wall or the ceiling. And I want you to imagine that portal and yourself going through it. And I want you to imagine you're standing on some steps, and they can be made of anything you like. There's 10 of them. And you're going to step downwards from those 10 steps. So when you've created those steps, I want you to tell me and what they're made of.
Marble.
Great. Now I want you to take steps down as I count you down these 10 steps. As I go 10, 9, 8, deeper and deeper. 7, 6, 5, deeper and deeper. 4, 3, 2, 1. You're now at the base of those steps, and directly in front of you, I want you to imagine a beautiful passage, brightly lit passageway. And as you walk towards it, imagine yourself walking towards it. On the left is your present life. On your right are your many other lives, your past, we call past lives. And we're asking the superconscious now about your links to the Sasquatch in terms of other lives. So you're going to move to the right to begin with. And as you move to the right, there is going to be many doors. And I want your superconscious to lead you to the door that will give you information on your connection to the Sasquatch. And when you see that door lighting up or you feel it in front of you, I want you to tell me. Is anything coming to you?
Yeah, I'm feeling very relaxed.
I'm sorry, I can't hear that.
I'm feeling very relaxed, but
Nothing's happening. All right. Okay, so I'm going to take you back to the passageway. And I want you to look to your present life. So we're going from your present age, going backwards in time in this present life. And we're asking now your superconscious self to guide you to the age when this was relevant to you in terms of your connection to the Sasquatch. So I want you to realize that we're looking at your present age, going backwards in time, and you're going to stand in front of the door that leads you into understanding your connection to the Sasquatch in this life. So I want to know the age that comes up as I ask that question.
8.
Good. I want you to now imagine that door itself and you pushing the door open. And I want you to immediately look down at your feet and tell me whether you are inside or outside somewhere, and if you've got footwear on.
Feels like I'm on a
I
forest.
can't hear that.
Seems
Sorry?
like I'm on a forest floor and I'm barefoot.
Good. Okay. Can you get a sense of your clothing? Have a sense of what you're wearing.
Just casual pants and a t-shirt.
Good. I want you now to get a sense of what time of day it is as you're there in the forest. What kind of day, what time of day do you,
2 p.m.
okay. And as you're there, is there anything that you are aware of directly in front of you or around you that's different? Any sense of a presence or anything like that?
Forest just seems more alive, more vibrant.
Okay. Okay. So it feels very vibrant and alive in the forest?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I want you to move forward, get more of a sense of how alive it is and what have you. And then I want you to become aware of if there's anything that feels different around you or unusual that you sense.
Seems like the trees have knowledge for me, or
Okay.
it seems like everything, I can connect with everything. There's yeah, it's
What?
not just like looking at a tree or a bird or something. It's there's a different connection there than just it seems. I guess
So,
just connection, or like I can converse with them.
okay. And what is it that you're feeling from that communication? What is it you sense from that communication?
Just love and completeness, and exactly what the Sasquatch told me. Everything is connected through energy, just a calm peace, knowing without really having to ask the questions.
Yeah. Do you sense any other kind of presence apart from the, the trees and that you're communicating with? Do you sense any other intelligence there?
The universal intelligence.
Universal?
Yeah, like just a God, like the God source or the universal source. Just it's a universal intelligence without questions, but an all knowing kind of thing.
Okay. So you're sensing this in the forest. I want you to move forward and I want you to ask the question, did you have any form of connection or encounter to other intelligences apart from that you were feeling with nature and the trees? Did you connect with any other kind of intelligence?
I'm thinking very deeply. I'm trying to feel it.
Okay, I want you to imagine and allow yourself now to really feel whether there's anything else that was grabbing your attention, as it were, apart from connecting to nature and to the trees and that communication. Was there any other intelligence around that you needed to be aware of at that time, energetically?
Well, I keep thinking that my Sasquatch people are watching me or with me.
Yes. Okay. So you're sensing that now. So I want you to try and connect to them and ask them what they're doing there with you. What is it they want to communicate to you?
Feels like family.
Okay. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. When you feel like they're like family, does this mean that on any sense that at one time you were of similar form?
Yes, it feels like they're welcoming me back.
Okay. Okay. So you've taken on human form this time.
It feels like I'm part of their family and they're welcoming me back.
Okay. Okay. So what would you like to ask them about your mandate, or why you have this connection with them now? What is it that is important for you to know?
What they need from me if I'm it's important for me to represent them and to get.
Okay, so the sense is that you are a kind of spokesperson for them.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So
A bridge between them and their message and how they're trying to connect other people, kind of go between master, I guess.
okay, you understand that.
Yes.
Have you in any other existence been in a similar form to them?
Yes.
Okay. So you have had that form yourself at some point.
Yes.
Okay. Would you like to ask a question about that, or do you have a question about that?
I would like to ask RE and his family, like that, if well, I already got the answer. I am part of their family.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
Beyond your, let's say that, from the beginning or from.
okay. Okay. Are they connected to any of the other star ancestors in terms of the ones that we're aware of? Is there any that you could they could give you some understanding of their connection to them?
Well, Palladians came to mind, but I think they are connected in message, heart, vibration with anyone who shares the same love and message. So it could embrace or encompass many different star nations.
Okay, so it's really about the same kind of those that have the same mandate to raise consciousness.
Right.
Okay. Is there any other question that you would like to ask them?
I'm thinking them as you're saying it.
Mm.
Yeah, I guess like RV and I have known each other for many lifetimes. I guess like brothers or
Mm.
almost feels like I'm a fragment of him or connected in some special way.
Are we talking about an aspect, a soul aspect here?
That's what I'm feeling.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. Is there any other question that you wish to ask about your connection to them and your mission?
Well, I wanted to ask them if I'm doing everything they want, but I already know that I am, so they've already answered that.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So you are on track, in other
Well,
words.
the questions you're asking me, they're already kind of telling me before we ask.
Yeah. Well, that happens a lot. I understand that. But I would like you, I'd like to say this now because you asked the question. You feel you have a very special connection with Susan. Is that related to them, or is it another lifetime that is that connection, that significant connection?
We're connected. She is connected to them as well as family, and they encourage our connection, and they know that it's important that we are together. They consider her family too, very much in the same way they consider me family.
So are they saying that you've both been that particular form together at some point, that particular life form?
Yes.
Okay, so that's the. Have you got any other question about that?
Well, specific question. There's a big knowing. It's the questions. It's like when I've been in a state before where I didn't need questions because it was just a point. So I'm kind of in that mold right now where the questions are, the knowing is more important than the questions, but I still like the questions.
Okay, well, let's ask them, is there any particular message or understanding that you've not been aware of that is important for you to understand at this moment in time?
Just keep connecting. Trust the guidance when I meet people and they speak to me energetically about connecting with them, speaking their words, speaking their heart, speaking their wisdom. Just trust in the guidance and the loving way that they are supporting me, Susan. Not get too far ahead in the process, just trust the process and go down the road one step at a time without thinking too far ahead. And trust that we will come out on the bright side of darkness.
Mm. One of the questions that you had was wanting to understand if you have connections to the Pleiadians. Is this correct?
Yes.
Okay. Why is that significant for you to know about in this life?
Because I think there's a connection between them and the Sasquatch people. And it confirms the message from both of them that is so similar and exact. It also gives me a feeling of home and belonging. And I guess just comfort.
Mm. Okay. So I'm asking this question now. In terms of your connection to the non-physical realm and these other intelligences that support you, have you got any particular Pleiadian source of guidance that you need to be aware of?
I think is in unison with the Sasquatch. Yes, I do feel their guidance more acutely now than I did before. I think the Sasquatch people are in the forefront. I think my history with them has been long, as with the Pleiadians. But I think they're equally involved, but they're a little bit in the background as far as on hands-on. But I feel the connection. I do feel the connection now.
Is there any other?
Before it was just maybe an idea, but now it feels like it's a solid knowing.
Okay. Have you got any other star nations connected to you, either that you've sensed or haven't sensed, that you need to be aware of?
Well, Mantis came to mind.
Okay. You had the sense that the mantis were connected to you. What is that connection?
Strength, courage, conviction, integrity. Honor.
Have you any questions of the mantis that you would like to understand or have more information on?
I could see myself on a ship with them.
Okay, what form are you?
I'm one of them.
Okay. Is this in this lifetime that you are in that form, or is this in another lifetime where you're in that form?
I get parallel lifetime, which, because time is not linear. See, I'm coming up with a lot of my lessons are connecting now. It's not linear, so it could be a parallel lifetime, or it could be a lifetime going on at the same time. I do feel like it's happening now.
Okay, so it's an aspect of your soul self? Or?
Yes, I think, yes.
Okay. Okay, you understand that?
Well, I mean, these are the answers and the knowledge that are coming to me right away, and I'm not thinking on them. They're coming
Good.
into my head. So.
Good, good. I'm checking on how you understand it as well, so that you have, you know, you've got a real solid sense of what you're receiving, which is really important to help you resonate with it. So there's an aspect of yourself operating in another timeline as a mantis. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Something you suspected, I believe, before. Is there anything about that that you would like to understand or know?
They are very strong, and they wise, wisdom. They're also part of the no fear thing that I've felt that the Sasquatch are here with me too.
Mm.
They've got some very strong qualities that they want me to have and have given me.
What is your role as a mantis? What
Teaching.
what is your, okay, teaching. Okay. Have you any other aspects in other forms that you are not aware of consciously?
That are coming to me now, or that I want to find out about?
Either. What's coming to you now as I ask that question?
Well, I feel the Pleiadians, I feel the Mantis, of course I feel the Sasquatch.
Yeah, I was getting that. Yeah, I was getting that as well. That's why they got me to ask it.
Nothing is coming to me.
No, other than the Pleiadian aspect.
3, yes.
Yeah. They were wanting you to be aware of that, that it's the aspects that you're connecting to, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so is there anything else, any of those aspects wishes to say to you so that you have greater understanding of your role and mandate on this planet?
They're all sending me love and that they believe in me. And they're proud.
Okay.
Is that your question?
Yeah, I'm really trying to make sure that we've covered all that you wish to explore during this, that there was nothing else left.
I think I've lived 3 lives as a Sasquatch is what in physical form they're saying.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, that answered your question pretty well in
Yes.
terms of family, which is what you wanted to know.
And Susan and I have been together in those lives. We've been connected and very, very strongly in most of these aspects.
Is there anything that's going to shift in your work in the future, or your connection with them in the future? Is anything going to shift or change for you to be conscious of?
Be more don't want me to be more hands-on with getting my book out there, with not letting emotions detract me. Staying in the no judgment, love, understanding, just moving forward with a better foundation of that. And just being devoted to what I'm doing, and not wasting time.
Is there anything else that they want you to know in this session today?
I keep getting love.
Uh-huh.
I was trying to think, which I wasn't supposed to do, but all I'm getting is love, just love and trust.
Okay. Well, from that, an indication of that you're being fully supported, and that information will come to you as easily and as naturally as is comfortable for you in your human form and your awareness. And this will now continue as and when it's necessary. And so allow you now to walk up those steps that you created as I go 1, 2, 3, becoming more aware, 4, 5, 6, becoming more aware, 7, 8, 9, 10, and bringing your consciousness fully into your human form, in harmony and in balance. And knowing that more information will be made more available as and when it's needed, as you evolve and continue to evolve in this human form. And when you're ready, open your eyes.
Oh. Wow, I was aware of everything, but I really wasn't in some kind of state.
Yeah.
Oh.
You did well.
I was so and I didn't trust myself to do it, but really, you're right. The answers were just coming to me without thinking.
Yeah.
Wow, I was really in a zone.
Yeah, and it's people don't realize that. Good to see you again.
Whoa, I'm kind of still a little,
A little
wow.
bit.
Well, I feel really good. Like, you know, I'm kind of used to that too, because I've kind of been in that state just with, you know, just with some of the stuff I do with them. Like, but yeah, oh boy. Oh, were you picking up on anything? Do you also pick up on stuff?
Well, I will now disclose, yes, I do.
Okay. Can you share with me what was happening or what you picked up
Well, yeah. The bottom line was that a lot of the questions come from them. So when, you know, although I had your questions, I was given some to ask you. And that is just because there's, if you like, a kind of cooperation between them and my lot, as I call them. And that always happens, that we're working multidimensionally, as you know, and there are certain things like the aspects that you needed to be aware of and why you're connected to them. So I would be asked to say, ask a question that would enable you to understand more of what was relevant. So although I had your questions, I'm then given questions to ask you.
Yeah.
And yes, I am seeing some of what you're seeing or picking up on what you are saying as well. And I'll expand on that. So that's my job. My job is to tune in and say, right, what else needs to be said here? What else is happening? And the mantis was important because of your feeling that you were connected to them. And they were saying that that's very relevant as well, along with the Sasquatch. Very relevant in.
Well, I was taken to another reality when I you know, from just regular looking someplace, and all of a sudden I was them.
Yeah.
And so that was not I was not, that's you know, that doesn't happen every day.
No, but it's what it's doing, and why this has happened is because now you are ready to embrace that greater awareness of who you are as a soul, and that you are working on multiple levels, which you already knew intuitively, and you know you had that sense of it, but this is bringing it more into 3D so that you can have more confidence in your connections, because it's enabling you to have more awareness of how it's all working, which you were able to identify beautifully.
Wow. I still feel kind of weird.
That's all right. It's all right. You know, the only way to ground you properly is to give yourself a nice cup of tea or a cup of coffee or whatever it is you drink.
Oh,
but
yeah.
The
I've got
main
some coffee here. Yeah.
yeah, that will ground you a little bit, okay? That will help you just come back more into your body. But what I've put there in post hypnosis is actually that you're going to find this will actually trigger more understanding now, more awareness, more connection is what I put in there.
It was weird because I was totally coherent, but I was still like, I felt like I was in some kind of state for sure.
Yeah.
And what did you learn from it? Did you learn anything new?
Well, what I was interested in is, because I'm doing a presentation to show the soul connection to past life mandates. I've got one lady who I'm going to talk about, who the reason she's incarnated this time is because of what happened in Atlantis and what fell apart in Atlantis. And she was part of them trying to wake people up then. It didn't work. So she's incarnated this time for that. And she's had an experience with it. It was about 6 or 7 other people she knew saw them on the craft. And they were ones that next day remembered that they'd also been on the cross. It's quite a significant story because of the past life connection was they were there too. So with you, that your connection to the Sasquatch, well, you already had been told that you,
oh, yeah.
you had connected, but now you know exactly that you've been one of them at least 3 times. That's why you've connected to them this time.
Well,
so now that's again the
yeah, go ahead. No, it's funny because, yeah, like you said, when I wasn't thinking, but just the number 3 comes into my head, and you know, like the answers would come into my head without, yeah, that was very compelling.
That's how you open up to your multidimensional self, is that when you learn to shut down left brain and you just allow the information in without thought. That is the way any clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience works. It literally works instantly because they know what you're needing. So they're already there, ready to answer you.
Yeah.
So it's instant. If I tune in, it just comes to me. I don't have to think, what am I going to say? It's just there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the difference between left brain and right brain.
Yeah.
Left brain, you think before you speak. Right brain, you speak before you think.
I'm still kind of in some sort of state where I think there's deeper levels yet. Yeah. There's stuff that I haven't been told, but there's other stuff too.
There will be. Yeah. Today was opening you up. It's triggering a certain frequency. So now, as I said in post-hypnosis, you are going to find more activity, more understanding, more communication as you open up more and more. So what we've done today is actually activate that as well.
Yeah.
So insights will come and you'll recognize them now because you know exactly how it will come. And more of your visual is going to come too. Because sometimes the visual people are afraid of the visual because it's another step to what will that show me or what will I see and what have you. And yet there comes a time where you're ready for it.
Yeah. You're
ready to get that. Because I get a lot of visual here. I have a screen. I call it my screen. It's never here. It's always here for some peculiar reason. It's always to my right. And it's like a video screen and they'll show me stuff on it.
Well, I have visuals, but I don't think we're talking about the same thing. Like I have seen them in various states, like as orbs. I've seen them as like, that's not what you're talking about though, right? But I've seen them as like a predator with the watery kind of thing. Yeah. I've seen them materialize out of thin air, out of a cloud of smoke. But that's different, isn't it?
Yeah, well.
You're talking about seeing them in my mind, you mean?
Yeah, in your mind's eye. If I ask, for example, who's in the room, they'll immediately show me who's in the room, but it will be in my mind's eye rather than me physically seeing it. I can see an aura, but I won't see colors. So my physical sight as yet does not embrace so much of the multi-dimensional. Some people can see orbs, I can't, but I'll know if they're there because I will sense it and I can take a picture of them and say, and I've called them in. I've actually said, would you come and just be part of it, and then tell someone to take the picture, and a meter from my hand will be an orb. So I can sense them, but I can't actually physically see them. But everything is shown to me in my multidimensional sight. They'll just show me, and it's always here. Yeah. And if I want more information, I can ask them to close, if you like, examine it closer, or I want more information, they'll show me more, and they'll just fast frame it or whatever and say, this is what you need to hone in on.
Okay, now I'm mad at you because you can snap your fingers and I can't do that. I just heard you snap your fingers. I've never been able to do that.
Oh, look, Brian, more is going to happen, because when I work with people, and I actually teach people how to connect to their guides, how to recognize their energy signature, how to communicate, how to bring in their clairvoyance and whatever, and show them how easy it actually is. It's just that we are so used, our program is so strong that we shut down so much of our multidimensional self, dismissing it out of hand. And that's, of course, what has been part of the program on this planet. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of snippets of like previews of stuff that might be coming. Like, like I've had clairvoyant. Well, like I'll think of what it got. I'll think of a word in my head, like an odd word that is maybe like 20 or 30 down the list of what the regular word would be, and then the person will say it immediately. So I've had a lot of stuff like that that's being introduced, but I guess what you're saying will be developed, right?
Yeah, and you know how before I asked the question you were already there is because we were connecting already
Yes,
on that.
that was happening a lot. I was already getting the answers before you asked the question.
Yeah, exactly, because they already know anyway what I'm going to ask, because that's it's kind of the loop, well, you call it the telepathic loop, really, Brian, because we are telepathic, and
Right.
it's just, again, that's something else that's been dismissed or whatever. So when I found out that I was seeing much of what my clients were seeing, it was a bit of a revelation at the time, but they were saying that why that's, it's another level of hypnosis, if you like, because it means that the facilitator is literally going with that person. And I realized that that's what I was doing, because they would mention something and I was already seeing it. And it is a completely different level, but the facilitator has to be open to working that way too, rather than just acting as a recorder. The useful thing with doing this is that I can access questions that even in your conscious mind you would not have been aware of being useful, but I would be said this is important for them to access or to know or to understand. And so then the question would be that, because it would open more doors.
Yeah. So you think I'm going to start actually having the thing you got, the visual kind of thing, developing at some point?
Yes.
Yeah. I know another Mary who we have very, very similar things. Like when the Sasquatch come in, we get like lit up with energy and we feel this feathery thing going across our chest. But she's got the visual or whatever too, right? And
yours will come.
Yeah.
Yours will come.
So I have a question for you. So, I mean, and I don't want you to, I want you to tell me what you have to tell me as well. But when you're like, when I'm talking with the Sasquatch, or like in when we were doing our session, do you feel them? Do you feel their energy? And do you feel the praying mantis energy and the Palladians? Do you feel their presence, or how does that work for you?
I'm shown that they're there. And I also know that if I'm given a certain question, it's come from one of them, because they want you to understand something. So the question triggers the information they want you to understand. So my team, if you like, is working with your team. My superconscious is working with yours. So it's kind of like this kind of thing. And I'm saying, is there anything else I need to ask or trigger? And they will say, ask this question or whatever. And it may be that I'm connecting to one of your team, or it may be my team's working through your team. And I don't always get the actual specifics other than this is what needs to be asked,
Mm-hmm.
And I will go with that. But I've always got my team here, my non-physical team here anyway. They always come in, and they will give me anything else that's needed. When you were that 8-year-old, for example, and you were saying the trees were talking to you and nature was talking to you, but you were actually on that frequency that you could actually access that information and that awareness and whatever. But the Sasquatch were also there, but they were invisible to you.
I was gonna, I actually had the Sasquatch in my head well before I said it, but I was fighting with myself. Am I just making that up? Is it just because I want them to be there? But it was persistent. So yeah.
Well, they were showing me that they were there.
I knew it, but I thought, geez, like it sounds. You know what I mean?
And this is what I say to people, because people are afraid that it's their imagination. And let me tell you the difference. And it's very clear what the difference is. If I say to you, think of your bedroom, because your bedroom is a reality. You know where the bed is, you know where the window is, you know where the door is, because it's your bedroom. It's a reality. If I said create a bedroom, you'd have to think, how big would the bedroom be? Would I have 1 or 2 windows? Where would the bed be? Would it have curtains? It's a completely different process. One would be instant in front of you because it's real. The one that you have to create is your imagination. Well, that's what I mean about honoring the first thing that comes in. You haven't got time to create something. It's either there or it's not there.
Yeah, that was definitely happening.
Yeah, and that's how you know it's not your imagination. And I say this so many times, it's actually really clear. When I said to you, create some steps, I was telling you to create something that you could find your way. It's like giving you a vehicle to take you to where you need to go, which you can create. It doesn't have to be, that can be imagination. It's leading you to something. But once I got you through that door of 8, where are you? I'm not saying create where you are. I'm asking where you are. And you said, I'm in the forest. That's different.
There was something that I didn't tell you, but once again, I thought, am I making this up? It almost felt like I had Sasquatch feet when I was looking at my feet.
You see, this is now for you to own what you get.
Yeah.
And that, because you've now done it, you'll know if you ever do any more exactly how it works. The first time you're learning a new process. And so there's bound to be a certain ambivalence to information that you think, oh, well, maybe I'm just wanting this, or I'm just expecting this, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
There were a couple times when I admit that I was thinking, am I just making this up? But there were so many, like the 8 number, the 3 number, the Palladian, or the Mantis ship. There was a lot of stuff that I said, no, this is real. Like, this is really like real, true information.
Yeah.
So what is the difference? I'm going to guess that there isn't any difference. But would there have been a difference if I had went to the right side first, as opposed to the left, or is it just the door I'm comfortable with?
It may be that this was the way they wanted you to come to the understanding. I gave you an option because I thought, well, you're either going to go right or left. Either way, we'll get the information. It's just giving you a pathway to information and what have you. And for whatever reason, you were not guided to go to the right. After all, you had 3 lifetimes in the right. They wanted you to see the connection through your present life.
Yeah.
That was the way. And I trust that. If somebody isn't okay, so you want them to go this, it's like when some people are not ready to see something, I will say, right, your superconscious is ready to see this. I'm going to put you into an elevator. What floor do you need to go to get your information? And they'll come out with maybe 7 or 8. Right, go to 7 or 8. Right, and when the door's open, what are you seeing? Not what are you creating? What are you seeing?
Yeah.
And that's that's where the language changes deliberately. I'm not going from create this. I'm going, what are you seeing?
Mm-hmm.
And that's how you know then.
Have you, I mean, I know you read Kiwani Lasparitis's book, but were you aware of how, I mean, I think you answered it somewhat, but were you aware of how I'm not going to say the agenda because agenda sounds bad, the teachings or the love and everything of the Sasquatch and the Star Nations people are so similar? Did you?
I was aware that they had a role to play along with the star visitors. And that, to me, the fact that they tuned into you and your energy and your motivations in the same way, that, that they would not have anything to do with you if you had evil intent or anything like this. And I also knew that they were connected. I knew they were connected to the star beings. I knew that. But I've not had the evidence of a past life connection. And the fact, and the reason this has come up now is because obviously it's important that I include that, because for me, when I do new presentations and whatever, they decide what I need to trigger my interest to put into a presentation. It's like, now you're doing this, and then I'll get stories that fit for that. It's like they put the collection, give me the collection.
Well, they guided me to you. I mean, they connect me with people.
So they obviously connected me with you. And I think that one of that reasons is because that you can include the Sasquatch people now comfortably, right?
Absolutely.
And they're lighting me up too with that because, you know, they want to be included too.
Yeah. And that is, you know, to me, it's all about the Star Nations, but generally you won't get anything about the Sasquatch. And often, I mean, I remember a presentation in England at the Probe in Blackpool, and it was all scary stuff about, you know, the Sasquatch and what have you. And they called it Bigfoot. And it was all scary stuff. And I remember thinking, this is not the big picture here. It's like the ETs, you know, where they've still got all the scary stuff without the understanding that comes as we get past our human fears and we become more open to our multidimensional self. Then all that fear dissipates, and it's like, I've just not understood. Now I understand.
Yes. Well, that's good. You see, because I really wanted to give that to you, and you've done wonderful things for me. I mean, because the Sasquatch, they will not work with anybody in a state of fear, or if they're not in a heart space, you know.
Yeah.
You have to be in the right, or have a connection, past life connect, or something that you have to. You can't, you know, they don't want to. They won't move you along the road with fear.
Yeah.
That's probably sounds very familiar to you too, right? With everything you've experienced, yeah.
Well, I say to people that, you know, with the shamanic wake-up call, when people go through the shamanic process, they have to transcend their human fears to operate in a multidimensional reality. This is the modern day shamanic wake-up call for those having ET experiences, whether it's Sasquatch, whether it's, you know, connecting to various types of beings that are out there, physical or non-physical or interdimensional, extra-dimensional. Some from our future, as I've had a 7-year-old tell me that he's from our future, that he doesn't look like this in the future. He explained he'd only got 4 digits and what have you.
Oh.
And he said, you know, he's come back to this line, to this time from the future. And I've heard at least another couple of people say they've come back from the future to, you know, be part of this time. So we've got the future selves coming back. I mean, it just, you know, it just keeps opening up, Brian, to more and more of the, you know, the weird and the wonderful, if you like. It's like, but why not? You know, we don't know what we don't know. So how can we have the arrogance to say, well, this is how it is, when we haven't got a clue what it is? Because, you know, the more you look into things, the more you become more aware of the fact that there is so much that we haven't even begun to understand about what is reality, you know, and ourselves. You've already discovered that you're operating in 2 other aspects already. You've discovered that. So what else is it that we don't know?
Yeah. Exactly.
So my job is to confront people a little bit with stuff and say, you know what, this could have integrity. So let's look at it. Let's see if you can open up to this possibility and what have you. And that's what I try and do. I start off doing the science as much as I can, but then saying, now let's take a step down the wormhole or the rabbit hole or the whatever it is and see where it might go. And could this be that, you know, just to give people a chance to explore possibilities, even if they're not quite ready to step into that, because unless we do that, we're never going to understand more of why we're here, what's it all about, and our role in the collective consciousness of what's going on. So, you know, all these stories give people often permission that are experiencing things, that are afraid to mention it to anyone, because they're afraid that they'll be seen as, you know, plot and what have you.
Yeah, that's never been my issue. Because I
Good.
never felt like I fit in anyway. So, you know, like.
But there are so many that feel isolated and alone because they're not aware that there are many like them out there. They just think it's just them. And part of my role is to say, no, it's not just you. There are feel they don't belong, that feel like they've been adopted, that this isn't home. and that they're connected to other beings and whatever. So you're not alone, and you're okay. Because once they can get a handle on being okay with themselves, then they can start opening up and starting to feel confident and realize then more of their mission here is to change what's going on, because they'll have a role to play, some mission or purpose with it.
And you know what? The beautiful thing about all this, and is that, when you have this knowing or whatever and no fear, you can really, there's nothing that can stop you. There's nothing in the world today that can really affect you or dissuade you from doing what you have to do, because you don't have any fear about it.
Yeah.
That's a real gift. That's a beautiful gift. I mean, because let's face it, the world today is all about fear, or a lot of fear and control in so many ways, and it's pretty obvious in the last few years. But they can't get to you when you're in that state of no fear. So that's a beautiful gift.
That's exactly right. And the more they understand of their connection, and that the fact that we are eternal, and this is just, all of that is it takes you right out of that fear matrix that is controlling.
One of the most dramatic things I had, well, this was the big, I mean, lots of, I'm getting energy. They just always hit me up with energy. I had what I called the love zap one time when there was a female Sasquatch in the bush. And all of a sudden she zapped me with this energy, and it was just like I had a knowing of connection, all connected. I didn't have any questions because there were none needed. I just felt blissful, connected with everything, and I was weeping and crying, and it was just, and ever since then, it's just been upward and onward, and even before that, but that was like a real, okay, now we're gonna give you the big knowing zap kind of thing. And now I knew I was an eternal being too, so the fear was gone, right? All those things were just kind of like zap, and I had it and whatever, and then it was dramatic.
Wow.
Yeah. So if I can, and I do this with love for the Sasquatch people and what I'm doing, if I can help you in any way on the Sasquatch aspect, I would be honored, because I don't care about ego. I don't care about look at me. I don't care about book sales. I don't care about any of that. I care about working together to make a better world, right? So
okay.
if you feel that you want to introduce the Sasquatch in some way, and I can facilitate or help you in any way with that, I would be honored.
Oh, thank you, Brian. And I will certainly include it, because I think it's time. Otherwise, it wouldn't have come into my notice in the way that it is. And I can bring in the fact that you're aware of your connection to them, not just in this present existence, but others. And also, some of the visuals that you gave me of, the way they communicate with you and this kind of thing, I can put that into some of the presentation, which will give people more of an idea that there are many different other forms of connection.
Yeah. I think it's beautiful, because with what you do, people just think of like ET races or whatever, and the Sasquatch, they don't even equate that there's any connection between them. I mean, some people, there are some that do, but generally the vast majority. And I think it's really, really important for the Sasquatch people, because they want to be recognized for what they are. They don't want to be feared, and just for the general knowledge and the understanding of the whole thing and how the whole big collective works, right? Because they're a big part of it. They're right in there. They're a big part of it.
Yeah. Well, anything you think is relevant image-wise, that you think has the right energy, send me that, and I'll see how I can put it together, because the visuals are really important, because it gives people something to connect to with the words. And I always put images. Always.
Absolutely. Well, you just let me know what you need. Like I've got literally thousands of pictures. Like they connect with me with a stick writing. That was how they first started connecting with me. We leave messages back and forth with little peel sticks, and just some remarkable stuff that we've done back and forth and whatever. And I can give you lots of that. I can even give you some pictures of them in a semi-cloaked state. And it's not like, and I don't want to insult anybody because everyone sees them differently, but it's not like some of those pictures you see where there's 50 circles and every circle, it's actually, you can, well, to me, I can actually see them in there. But there's also the fact that if you're supposed to see it, you can. Like, you know, so you got to balance that too, right? But yeah, I've got a lot of different stuff that would constitute proof, I think, to anybody with an open mind, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, it's the visuals are really good because
I've got a lot.
Because you know that we're getting those doing scripts, doing writing symbols, coming out with the languages. This is all, when people say, what's the evidence? I said, this is the evidence that people not only change in consciousness, but they're now doing new artwork, writing these scripts and symbols that for coming out with these languages and whatever. You don't do that after a fantasy.
No.
It only happens because you had a shift in consciousness.
These glyphs are 100% authentic because they've left me the same thing in Oregon and Washington State and BC, at my house, and you know, disappeared right before my eyes, kind of thing. It's all it's the real thing, and it's just amazing. Yeah, and it's, well, you'll see. I'll be showing. I'll be sending you some pictures. You'll see. But one time, you know, like RE confirmed it to me, even though I already knew. I had that knowing, but with the glyphs, see, some of them have their own signature. Like you know, like to have a signature glyph, you know, right? That if you see that glyph, that means it's them or whatever. And so he has an A, right? He has an A glyph.
Yeah.
And if it's combined with an X, the A, and then you put an X there, you have to look at it kind of abstractly. It means friendship welcome is the X from the clan of RE.
Yeah.
And so what? Yeah. And so, but I have to clarify, it's personal and it's an arrangement, telepathic, and it's an arrangement between you and them. It's not going to mean that for everybody. But so he left me a glyph, a big AX glyph propped up in the sand. And when you see it, you'll be so excited. And it was just beautiful. And, you know, like these glyphs, like, you know, some people can say, well, it felt like that. No, not these are like way beyond any kind of possible coincidence. So anyway, I saw it in the sand, propped up 3D, and my First Nations friend and I, who introduced me to them, connections, right? We were there and we saw it, and then all of a sudden our attention was both turned to the forest, right? And there was RE standing there. He's about 12 feet, over 12 feet tall. He stood there, and as soon as he acknowledged that we saw the glyph, and it also verified the meaning for me, right? You know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Friendship, welcome, love from the clan of RE. As soon as we saw that, he just, like a phantom, like,
wow.
And then just disappeared. But he was, wow, absolutely magical.
Wow.
Yeah. And try to think of somebody as big as a Volkswagen, as wide as a Volkswagen or something. He's, you know,
wow.
big and broad, and yeah.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, they're an amazing people. They got a lot to teach us. So I will send you anything you want, and hopefully we can keep conversing, and you will come on our show one time, right?
Yeah.
We'll arrange that too.
We will. Okay, I will let you go then, Brian, and hopefully you can download this as well as me.
Yeah, I can. So look for your
that's good.
Look on Facebook chat, and I'll send you in a bit. I'll send you some of their glyphs, and then you can you know, in the chat box.
Yeah.
And you can have a look at them, and if you want any have any questions, I can answer you or whatever.
Perfect.
Or we can face chat or whatever we want to do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right.
Okay. All right.
Thank you so much. And I think it, like, you know, when I went into this, I said, this is going to be good for both of us because, yeah, it opens up a whole new avenue for you too, right? To know that the Sasquatch people are right in there with everything you've always been involved in.
Always, and really important. And it is all about timing. You know that, Brian, when people are ready, then it's
Yeah.
about
This,
you
yeah.
know, this is the next step.
When you get on this connection with them and you're on this walk with them or starting or any of these things, there is no coincidences. Everybody connects up for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll go in the woods and I'm going to let you go, but I just an example, I'll go into the woods and I'll connect with somebody and I feel their energy and I say, you know, the Sasquatch live here. And then the guy will say, geez, I just heard something walking around in the bush, like boom, boom, boom on 2 feet. Like, you know, it's that kind of like amazing, you know,
Wow.
it's that kind of amazing. Just
Mm.
connections.
Wow.
All right, my friend. Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. It's been
And-
a pleasure, Brian.
And I hope I didn't insult you with the finger thing, but I can't do that. I can't snap my fingers.
No, all good.
And I'm a Frank Sinatra fan too, you know, when he was always like,
I can do it. See there.
yeah, there you go. I got the voice of Sinatra, but you got the snapping, so.
All good. It's all good, Brian.
Yeah.
Let's take care and
Take
have a
care.
good evening.
Yeah, good night or good evening, you know.
Yeah, take care.
Yeah, bye-bye.